Hello, Seiiti Arata. You know how to get a kid to drop a toy, right? Just show her a new one. That shiny object will catch her attention and she'll forget all about the old toy, even if the old toy is better. Now, we adults are not that different. Whenever we discover something new, that shiny object catches our attention and makes us abandon what we have in hand, even if we are on the right track. This behavior is so common that it even has a name: shiny object syndrome. It makes you act more based on emotion than on reason. And while it may seem harmless, it can disrupt every area of your life. Shiny object syndrome prevents you from realizing your biggest dreams. Most people can achieve their life goals using a good plan. And a good plan is a plan proven by time that others have already used to achieve their same goals. If you want to lose weight, the challenge is to have adherence to the calorie restriction plan. There are many paths for that. You, for example, could use a low carb diet, or a low fat diet, or a vegetarian diet, or a carnivorous diet. As long as you follow the diet consistently, you will reach your goal. Now, if you want to earn money with investments, you can choose the fundamental analysis of companies. You could do technical analysis of stocks. You could invest in your own business. You could buy Bitcoin and learn how to keep your own keys. There are multiple paths. As long as you maintain consistency in your strategy, you will reach the objective. If you want to learn a new language, you can choose to take face-to-face courses or online courses or private lessons. You can participate in language exchanges or can just watch movies and TV series. Just stay consistent and you will get there. With these three examples, notice that a good plan is the one that you can stick to for as long as it takes. In evidence-based medicine, this is called adherence. It is no use just presenting a patient with the best protocol for good health. It is necessary for the patient to be able to implement the plan for as long as necessary. However, it is difficult to achieve adherence because people suffer from this shiny object syndrome. They start out excited about the pumpkin diet, but soon they learn about the pineapple diet and they change their minds before the first plan has had time to produce any results. And as soon as they hear about something else, well, they change their strategy again. And so they spend their lives jumping from branch to branch like a squirrel, hoping for the next bright object that will bring the desired result. But they would have already achieved the result if they had stuck to the original plan for a longer time. Shiny objects are distractions that delay your life goals. Shiny object syndrome is just a fancy name for something that is very simple and yet pretty difficult to combat: distraction. And distraction messes with your emotions. The desire for novelty compels you to make irrational decisions. Imagine if you had to get from point A to point B and the only path available was a straight road, free of any signs or obstacles. You'd simply travel this road in the only possible way and you would soon arrive at the desired destination. Now imagine that. You have to go from the same point A to the same point B, but now there are hundreds of different paths, each one with several forks and holes and obstacles and shortcuts and detours. And along these paths, there are also several advertisements saying that, well, the other way is better, that a different route will take you there faster, that you are on the wrong path. That's what happens when you don't stick to the plan that you've laid out to achieve your goals. You keep changing strategies from time to time and you never see the results. Now, that doesn't mean that your original plan is always going to be the best path. But even if it's not the best path, it's probably better to stick with it for a while than to keep changing strategies without giving the plan time enough to produce the results you want. So learn to give your initial route some time. You don't have to be stuck forever to the original plan with no flexibility to change when you find that your path isn't going to yield results, but you need to at least give yourself time to see if the plan will work or not. And you do this by eliminating distractions, maintaining emotional control, and learning to say no. Going back to the weight loss example, if you choose the X diet, stay with it. Don't keep reading about the Y diet. Don't keep looking for on the internet for information about the Z diet. The fewer distractions you have, the easier it will be for you to focus on your plan and say no to shiny objects dangling in front of you. Our desire for novelty is inevitable, so learn to use it to your advantage. It doesn't really matter if you're a super focused person or somebody who's easily distracted. If you are a human being, you have a natural tendency to be interested in novelty. And since shiny objects will sooner or later catch your eye, you can learn to use this tendency to your advantage. And the best way to do this is to shorten the time frame of your goals so that you can increase your focus. With a smaller goal and a shorter time frame, you're less likely to lose interest in your original plan. So, for example, instead of setting a goal saying that you're going to be losing 15 pounds in a year using the paleo diet, you can set a smaller goal for a shorter amount of time. In that way, you can evaluate your progress more often. For example, you can aim to lose 3 pounds in a month on this diet, and at the end of the month, if you're dissatisfied with the diet or if you find it's not producing results for you, you can change the plan and then try something new. A good way to do this is to use the weekly mini goals technique that we already taught in the episode 203 of the series, Hello, Seiiti Arata. If you reduce your goals to small, 7-day chunks, you can renew your spirits and you can find something new every week. Now just be careful because for most purposes, it is not very effective to change the strategy every couple of weeks. It is a very short time to see, for example, results in a diet or in an investment plan or in learning a language. But even without changing the strategy, you can have a shiny object within the plan by changing the menu, the actions to be analyzed, the type of exercises that you're going to be doing. There is no time rule for changing strategy. You need to analyze with common sense why the results didn't appear. Getting stuck with a strategy that isn't working is just as bad as jumping about, pursuing every shiny new object that appears. Because of this, you need to have balance and common sense to define when a strategy is not working for you and when it needs to be replaced. The best way to get that common sense is by analyzing data. Make a plan with your objective, define the strategy that you will use to reach that objective, and then execute this strategy for a predefined time. And at the end of that time, you can analyze the data to see if the plan worked or not. If it's not working, then you can switch strategies with intention, now driven by reason rather than emotion. Back to the weight loss example, imagine that you chose the paleo diet, you consulted a nutritionist that you really trust, you followed the menu most of the time, and yet after 90 days you didn't see any significant weight loss. Well, in this example, this particular diet may not be working for you. Maybe it is more effective to switch strategies and try something else and look for better results. You see how this type of approach differs from being distracted by information that appears in front of you all the time. In shiny object syndrome, the new things are pulling you off track, and the distractions delay the achievement of your goals. Now here, you are in charge. You're trying out strategies and you are observing results before you try and test something new. For this to work, you need to have a plan. You need to be clear and realistic about what you're trying to achieve, what strategy you're going to be using, and how long it will take you, likely to take you, to see the results. It may seem complicated, but it is much simpler than constantly trying new and fancy solutions without ever seeing the result. Shiny object syndrome is this tendency to look for new things all the time, losing interest in and abandoning what we already have, even if that is already working fine. This type of behavior disrupts all areas of life, greatly delaying the achievement of our goals. And to beat shiny object syndrome, you need to have a plan and stick to it. You need to give a plan time to work and show results, and only then analyze if you really need something new. In the Planning Your Life course, you learn to plan like this. You develop a plan that goes from your most important personal values to the practical steps that you need to take in order to turn your goals into reality. And you can view the special lesson from the Planning Your Life course right now by visiting arata.se/planning your life.